He was the man who went a long way to define the governor as the chief international sales agent for the state. Before him, we did not think of ourselves as being involved in international commerce. Now we expect it. He was an excellent governor. He had intricate knowledge of the state, particularly the budget. His word was bond, and you could count on him to do what he said he'd do. Who is this governor that I forgot to do? Hey guys, it's me, Tyler, not Kyler. It's George Busbee's birthday. Hopefully, by the time I put this out. If not, it's George Busbee's birthday. George Busbee, you may be asking, who's that? Well, he is the 77th governor of Georgia, and he is the best governor of Georgia. Here's why. Hopefully this gives me cleaner sound. If not, screw me. Okay, let's go, because I'm using a mic now. George Deco Busbee was born in Vienna, Dooley County, in August 7th, 1927. He was the son of a mule trader, and yeah, that's he grew up to become a governor. So I think that's, I mean that's better than a mule trader, I guess. But George Busbee lived and died in Georgia. He was married, had 4 children. He was in office for 2 terms. He was educated through the Georgia Military College, University of Georgia Law School, and Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. George Busbee went to military colleges, went to the Navy, and after the Navy, went to normal colleges. He got his bachelor's degree in 1949 and a law degree in 1952. During his time at law school, Mary Beth Talbot moved to Georgia to work as a medical technician at Athens General Hospital, where she met George Busbee. George Busbee married Mary Beth. George Busbee married Mary Beth Talbot in 1949. And Mary was from Louisiana, so she was not a purebred Georgian, but oh well. George Busbee started off his career as a family lawyer for a family he had close ties to. Busbee later served 9 terms or 18 years in the Georgia House of Representatives. In 1974, Busbee won the Democratic nomination for governor in Jimmy Carter's final year in that office. You know, Jimmy Carter was a governor for Georgia, so I mean, that's cool. Is that cool? I mean, in the party runoff, George Busbee defeated former Governor Lieutenant Lester Maddox, the man whom Busbee had voted against in the legislative election for governor 7 years earlier. Basically, George Busbee, he won against a person that he had voted against 7 years ago. In the fall of 1974, Busbee defeated Ronnie Thompson. Busbee became governor in 1975. He was described as having low-key leadership. So, he was really... That's actually how people described him, low-key. Dude, he was so low-key, dude. He just chose to be quiet. He chose to be a little introvert there. He avoided publicity and worked quietly in the house. He was thought of being very articulate and very thoughtful. Busbee became the governor just as Europeans and the Japanese began looking to invest. Because of this, Busbee caused thousands of people in Georgia to have jobs. He got employees from Japan, I believe. In 1975, Busbee and the chairman of Nissan Motors created the Japan Southeastern United States Association, a multi-state trade group that meets yearly. One time, he tried to address the Japanese governor in Japanese, and ended up calling him a flat-breasted woman. Busbee once crash-landed a state helicopter on Sapelo Island when he was trying to learn how to fly it. He was once allowed to take the controls of a B-747. I guess he was proud of himself for that and not crashing it, I would imagine. In 1976, voters approved of a revision of the Georgia Constitution, which included a provision that allowed Busbee to become the state's first governor to serve 2 consecutive 2-year terms, which means that usually all the governors before him, they can only run 4 years. Busbee, he changed the law, dude. Why they say that? Of course they changed the law, but... So, all the other governors, 4 years. Busbee, he's the king. He gets 8 years in the office. Because he's so good, you know? Busbee invested more than $100 million in the ports at Savannah and Brunswick, I'm assuming in Georgia, and increased the provision of good water and sewerage. He placed new emphasis on agribusiness, tourism, and the film industry. Because of Busbee, Georgia became a popular place to film. 160 feature films, television movies, and specials were produced in Georgia during Busbee's reign as governor. After his service as governor, Busbee joined the Atlanta law firm King and Spalding and moved to the Atlanta suburb of Duluth. In 1983, the Atlanta Constitution said that Busbee was leaving office with an enviable record of progress and stability. A 1985 poll claims that historians of Georgia ranked Busbee as the most fiscally responsible governor of the state since World War II. George Busbee Parkway, Busbee Drive, and Busbee Hall at the University of Georgia are named in his honor. Now his wife, Mrs. Busbee, was known for her emphasis on volunteerism. In 1985, she co-authored a cookbook, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Mrs. Busbee was a 40-year cancer survivor. He was admired for his low-key leadership, while exhibiting a sense of humor and wit that was unmatched. Said by Governor Sonny Perdue. George Busbee is the father of international trade in Georgia. Said by George Berry. George Berry is talking about George Busbee, who was the governor of Georgia. Anyways, Busbee had 4 kids: Beth Kent, Jan Curtis, George D. Busbee Jr., and Jeff Busbee. I like how Busbee named one of his kids. Oh, you deserve to take after me. You're George Busbee Jr. And you're Jeff. I can't find anything about the 2 girls, most likely because their last names aren't Busbee. But George Busbee Jr. is, according to LinkedIn, the VP of Goof-Offs at Miller Coors, which is like a brewery. And Jeff Busbee is a Chief Human Resources Officer at National Vision. George Busbee was married to his spouse, Mary Beth Talbot, for 55 years, which is dedication if I've ever seen that. He was married from 1949 to 2004, his death. He died in an airport between 3 to 4 p.m., although he seemed healthy. You see, what makes my boy George Busbee special? And that is absolutely nothing. Okay, hold on. George Busbee is the king of Georgia, and you never forget that, okay? George, he worked in silence, but he worked good. During his time, he didn't do much. He did some stuff with like kindergartens. I guess he was good with finances, and movies and stuff were made in Georgia. But that's about it. That's the most interesting stuff he's done. And why do I like him because of that? Because, you see, George, he doesn't go all out on being the cool governor. You see, George, he relates to the common man, I think. I didn't script this. I don't know where I'm going with this. George Busbee, he may not have been flashy. He may not have been in the news a lot. He may not have a lot of photos online. He has like 3 or something. But George Busbee, he's the first governor to get a 2-year term, and there were 76 governors before him. People liked him so much that he got 2 terms, being the 77th governor. He was Democrat. Did I never say that? He was Democratic. I don't know politics. Is that good? Maybe. And he just died randomly. So, George Busbee, #1 Georgian. I got a phone number that said that George Busbee, this is George Busbee's phone number. Hopefully, he will talk to me through the grave later, and see you then. Hey guys, welcome back. Uh, on this episode of Tyler Not Kyler, I'm gonna be calling George Busbee. You already knew this. I already said this earlier. Come on, my boy George, pick up. Is this the real George Busbee?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. What's your favorite food?
Babies.
Baby. why why are babies your favorite food, George?
Because they are delicious.
What is,
Sorry, I'm being shot at, so just hold tight for a bit. Don't mind the noise. I'm being shot at right now.
oh, that's completely fine, George. Where are you right now?
I'm in Compton.
Okay, Mr. Busbee. How did you like being?
Hey, there's Tupac. Get over here, Tupac. I
Okay.
just killed Tupac again.
Mr. Busbee, how did you like being governor of Georgia?
It was great. I did nothing. All I did was use my monies to play seal tennis. You know what seal tennis is, boy?
What's field tennis, Mr.
You
Busbee?
get a baby seal. Toss it up in the air.
Oh,
Yeah,
seal
with the
tennis.
tennis racket back and forth. Seal tennis.
Seal tennis. Okay. If you were able to become governor again, would you?
Yes, I would.
Uh,
I would.
What was your favorite thing that what do you think is the best thing that you did while you were governor?
I killed 50 people, including Biggie and Tupac.
Okay, that's. Do you have a personal hate against rappers?
Yes, I actually am a rapper. You know, Vanilla Ice.
Yes, I know Vanilla.
That was me. That was me.
You
I'm Vanilla Ice.
you are Vanilla Ice.
I gotta run. Okay, I escaped those guys.
Okay, Mr. Busbee.
FBI, open up. Oh, God. All right. Yeah. What were you gonna ask?
I was gonna ask, what's your favorite type of music, Mr. Busbee?
My favorite type of music is I like K-pop.
K-pop?
That's George Busbee's favorite kind of music.
Okay, Mr. Busbee, how do you feel about your son?
Eat the money out. You gotta break all your fingers. What?
How do you feel about your son, George Busbee Jr.?
He's a pretty cool guy.
Okay,
He's diabetes though.
are you able to bring him on phone?
Yeah, sure is. Hello. This is George Busbee Jr.
Today is your birthday. So,
Yes.
do people have any people told you happy birthday today?
No.
0 people?
0 people.
Oh, that's I'll sing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Busbee. I love you. He hung up. Okay, well, looks like Mr. Busbee hung up. But that he is a busy man, and all in all, this is